When learning a new language, one of the first things we learn is how to describe our family. In English, you would learn my brother is 5, my sister is 10. My brother likes football, my sister likes tennis. But how helpful is that in real life? I remember learning mein Vater ist lustig in my German lessons at school, which translates to my dad is funny, which I'm sure would come in very handy if I decided to visit Germany and wanted to book a taxi or check into a hotel. So how can we talk about our family in a more advanced way? Hi, my name is Catherine. I am a business English teacher and I work with intermediate to advanced level students. If you are looking to work with the English language, you already work with the English language, or you just want to improve your knowledge of the English language, I definitely recommend subscribing. I post 2 to 3 videos a week, and I am sure you will find something helpful there for you. Before we go into the vocab, one of the first things I want to give to you as a piece of advice is that in order to really advance the conversation and demonstrate a higher understanding of the language, you need to use longer, more descriptive sentences. So for example, when someone asks me, do you have any brothers or sisters? And I say, yes, I have one brother. That's a very short sentence. I've answered the question, but I'm not demonstrating any sort of understanding of the language. I can say, yes, I have a brother. He is 3 years younger than me and studies economics at Edinburgh University in Scotland. What about you? By answering in a more descriptive way, giving more information than what was asked for, not only does this show a good understanding of the language, but it also lets the listener know that I am interested in this conversation. I want to talk to them. If you just answer, I have one brother, the listener feels, okay, and how old is he? What does he do? Where does he work? If the listener feels like they need to ask questions all the time and get very, very short answers, the conversation doesn't feel natural and feels very one-sided. Therefore, it's less engaging and less enjoyable. So, the conversation is going to end pretty quickly. If I give a longer, more detailed answer, maybe I'll have something in common with the listener. Maybe the listener's sister studies at the same university. Maybe the listener studied the same thing as my brother. We can find a new path for this conversation to go. Now, the first 3 words I'm going to give you are mistakes I often see students make. Or not necessarily mistakes, but just words that they always forget. So the first is siblings. Siblings. Now, siblings is brothers or sisters. But it's a gender-neutral word, so instead of asking someone, do you have any brothers or sisters, you can say, do you have siblings? Or do you have any siblings? The listener can then answer, yes, I have 3 brothers. Yes, I have 2 sisters. Yes, I have 1 brother and 10 sisters. It's a more advanced way of asking about their brothers and sisters. You can also use this word to refer to yourself and your brothers and sisters instead of having to list everyone. You could say, my siblings and I are going for breakfast next Wednesday. My siblings and I are buying a present for our mum. Cousins. Now I see this one being forgotten a lot. Your cousins are the children of your parents' siblings. It sounds confusing, doesn't it? So if your mum or dad, or either one of your parents, has a brother or a sister and they have children, those children are your cousins, and you can have as many cousins as you want. And again, cousins is gender neutral, so it refers to male and female cousins. And the final one that students often forget is in-laws. In-laws. Now, as the name suggests, in-law. This is someone that is not related to you by blood. They don't have the same DNA as you, but by law. So, for example, if you marry someone, the parents of that person are your parents-in-law, because by law, they are your parents, but not by blood. The sister of the person you marry is your sister-in-law, and the brother of the person you marry is your brother-in-law. And this, of course, grandparents-in-law, cousins-in-law. You can add in-law to any family member to demonstrate They are the family of someone you have married. The next two phrases are how we can refer to family in a more general way without having to list every single person. So your immediate family are kind of the people you grew up with. So typically, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. But of course, families come in all different shapes and sizes. So if you grew up with your grandparents are your immediate family. If you grew up in a family where you had hundreds of cousins all living in the same house, they are your immediate family. It's the people closest to you. You grew up with them. Your extended family are the people that you didn't grow up with, but are your family. So aunts and uncles, maybe, or grandparents, or cousins that live in another country. I have cousins that live in South Africa, so I rarely see them, but we are family. They would be my extended family. You can use this, as I said, when talking in general about your family. So let's say you're at work and a colleague says, "What are you doing on the weekend?" You can say, "I'm meeting my extended family for a big lunch." Meaning all the people you don't usually spend time with or don't usually see. Or maybe someone asks you, "Oh, I heard you were going on a family holiday. Is it immediate family or extended family?" I mean, that's a bit strange. Most people wouldn't ask that. They'd be more likely to say, "Who are you going with?" And you might say, "Oh, just immediate family." So just the people I grew up with, mum, dad, brother, sister, whoever that was. Now let's move on to romantic relationships, romantic partners. So of course, I'm sure you all know boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Sometimes native English speakers like to shorten boyfriend, girlfriend to BF, GF. So you might see this in casual communication. I'm going out with my BF. I'm going out with my GF. It just means boyfriend, girlfriend. You may see or hear native English speakers saying the missus or my missus. Now, personally, I don't recommend using this to refer to your wife or girlfriend. A lot of people in England do, but it can seem quite derogative. Now, derogative means disrespectful. It's saying you own that person, they belong to you. You're saying that person is a possession, and it doesn't suggest equality in the relationship. So you may see it, you may hear other people use it, but I don't recommend you using it because it's not a positive thing to say about the person you love, "Oh, they're my missus." It's much sweeter, much more respectful to call them your girlfriend or your wife. Fiance. Fiance. Now, the word fiance comes from the French language, which is why the spelling and the pronunciation seems a bit strange for English language. But in English, we say fiance, and what it means is you have agreed to marry someone, but you are not yet married. So maybe you have asked someone to marry you, or they have asked you to marry them, and you are planning a wedding. You agree to get married, but you are not at that point of being married yet. They would be your fiance. So instead of calling them my girlfriend, my boyfriend, you can almost upgrade the relationship and say my fiance. And the minute you get married, they are no longer a fiance. They become your husband or your wife. My other half. Now, this is very cute and sweet, and it has a very respectful meaning. My other half suggests the two of you make a whole. You're equal. You're both 50% in the relationship. So you're equal to each other, and one half is not complete without the other half. So my other half told me, and this again is a gender neutral term, so it can be anyone, male or female. My other half is taking the children to Disneyland for the weekend. My other half works really hard. My other half used to work for this company. It's like saying the other half of the relationship, the other half of my heart. It's very sweet. It's very respectful. And moving on from that, we have my better half. Now, this is kind of a joke about my other half, because what you're saying is we're not equal, they're better than me. And it's a play on words. So you're saying they make me a better person. They are better than me. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have them. So by saying my better half, it's very respectful to the person you are in a relationship with. And it's kind of a joke at yourself, saying, I wouldn't be who I am without them. My better half prepares my lunches every day, and I'm so grateful because I find it really difficult to get up in the morning. This is my better half. As you can see, he is better looking than I am. Significant other. Now, again, this is quite a nice one to use, my significant other, or SO for short. Maybe you get an invite to something and it says Catherine and SO. Or feel free to bring your significant other. Now, significant other suggests that maybe there's no marriage here. You could just be dating. You could be in a relationship. You could be married. You could have been married for 70 years. But what you're saying is, this is my other person. This is the person that I spend my life with. I spend my time with. And it's often used again as a very respectful way of referring to someone that you really like to spend time with and care for. My significant other. I'm taking my significant other away for the weekend. And the final one to refer to someone you are romantically involved with is partner. Now, partner can be used when you don't want to specify the gender of the person you are dating, but partner is also used to just say, my partner, the person I go through life with. Maybe they are your wife or husband. Maybe they are not your wife or husband. Maybe they're just a boyfriend, just a girlfriend. Maybe you don't have any names for your relationship, but they're your person that you spend your life with, you choose to spend your time with. They are your partner. I'm taking my partner away. My partner and I saw a really good film last night. I'm meeting my partner's parents on the weekend. And the final three I have for you today are to refer to someone that you used to be romantically involved with, but are no longer. So, of course, the first one, I'm sure you've heard it, is divorced. Now, divorced means you are legally separated. You have legally decided to not be a couple anymore, and you've signed paperwork to say, we are no longer married. So someone may say, I am divorced, or I am divorcing my husband. It's a legal document that you sign, so the government, the law, knows you are no longer considered a couple. Separated can mean you are divorced, but it can also mean you are not divorced but not together. So you haven't signed this paperwork. Legally, you are still married, but you do not live together, you do not love each other, you do not spend time together, you're separated. In various different countries, divorce is either not accepted or it's very expensive to get a divorce. Or if you have a divorce, it's difficult for the children to go to certain schools. So some people don't get divorced because it's easier to stay a married couple. So they would just say they're separated. Legally, we're a couple, but we do not act or behave like a couple. And my final one today is estranged. Now, estranged is the most severe of divorced and separated, but it means the same thing. It means you are no longer together, no longer a couple. You don't consider each other the other person's significant other or partner or person you're doing life with. You are completely separated from them. But estranged also has a feeling that you also have no relationship with this person at all, not even friendly. So you don't talk to them. You don't send messages to them, you don't see them. Your lives are completely separated. You are estranged from each other. And that is all for today. Let me know down below, how big is your family? In England, I would say about 4 or 5 people in a family is most common. But I know in other cultures, people will have huge families. And I was always very jealous of people that had big families when I was growing up, because I always felt like I wanted to be part of that fun and excitement, and there were always lots of people to talk to. Let me know down below, how many people are in your immediate family? Thank you for watching and supporting as always, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.